This is ASpengler, and this is episode 2 of building the Outskirts of Saint Lô in Lego. Last week we got done the outline of the road and the structure. I guess the outline will be the structure of the road. So you can see that this area will be kind of the blown up town, and then these areas will be, there'll be fields around the road, and then the road will be surrounded by hedgerows, which was a big feature around Saint Lô. So that's something I'm trying to highlight in this mock, the hedgerows. And last week we kind of had some prototyping sort of stuff for the hedgerows that I'll try to line the road with. So it's kind of the technique I saw before or once on YouTube, and I thought that was really cool, so I'm gonna use this one, the full kind of bendy texture detail that will be for like the fields, and this kind of half one, I'm thinking this one will be for the hedgerows. So for the start of this segment, I'm thinking I'm gonna make a few more of these with some nets I have. I ordered a few more nets, or quite a bit more nets, just because this is like all I have and I'm gonna need a lot more. So I'll start off, make some more of these, and then just kind of see how it looks for hedgerow detail. So go ahead and do that. So we'll be doing a lot of road work. I'm thinking for the start of this whole series, I'm gonna be working on the roads quite a bit, because that's something I really want to highlight and make sure it looks really good. And then we'll kind of, after the roads have a pretty good start to them, then we'll get started on the little field areas and the town areas. So let's get started. Go ahead and get working on those hedgerows. Coming back after a fairly decent amount of building. You saw me make 2 of these, I don't know, flexible building plates or something, whatever you want to call them, the net technique sort of things that I'm using for my hedgerows. Here's the progress we've got so far. I've mainly been focusing on one of the 6 sections at the moment, but I've got basically all the road on this section lined with those netted hedgerow pieces that I'm using. So here it is, and I'm thinking that it's going really good. The only like problem that I'm having with these is like on the slant areas and on corners. Right here I ended up just putting block work, just because there's really no way to get that net to curve like this and then also slope down. So there are a few issues. I'll probably have to put block work right here as well, but that's not too bad. I thought I got a fairly decent amount of the overall road covered with the net parts. I ended up using the rotating 2x2 piece to put these 2 sections on that angle. And so here's the road so far. I just wanted to show you it before I continue. I'm thinking that I'm gonna probably finish this whole, or at least get this whole section covered with plating, see how it looks. Kind of give myself a estimate of how many pieces I used on this, so I can determine how many I will need for the rest of the plates. So that's kind of what I'm doing. So for now, I'll go ahead, probably cover this road area with the plating. I don't know if I'll try to get to the other areas, but for now we'll just do the road itself. But I'm thinking after I get that road covered up with plating, it's gonna look really good. So here it is so far, just with the hedgerows kind of in place. They're fairly sturdy, but I wouldn't like hit them too hard, but they're stuck in there fairly well. You see on this side, you can see the structure that's kind of behind those. They're put down with some sloped pieces like these, sloped, and the front holds the little bit of the net down, holds this part, the remaining two, so this will hold it down, and then I curl it over, and then it sticks to some more of the slope pieces that go right here. So then with this held down, curls around and then sticks onto another one. So that's kind of, well, this is kind of a crude view of it, but yeah, that's kind of what it is. So that's what I've been doing. I've got this whole thing covered with the hedgerows around the road. It did take quite a bit more of the nets than I was expecting, so I'm probably gonna have to order quite a few more of those if I want to continue this technique, and especially if I want to do it for like the fields as well. So we'll see how that goes. I'll definitely, since this looks really good to me, I'll do it for the hedgerows at least. I think it would look a lot better if I did the fields with the nets also, but we'll see how many nets that we have left to do that. So let's go ahead and get the road all covered up. I'll try to get some time lapses in as well. Okay guys, coming back for the last bit this segment. As you saw in the time lapses, I covered up the road in this section that I have the hedgerows on, so let's take a look at that. Kind of the technique that I used, or I don't know, what I ended up doing was I used the dark tan and kind of had that overlap going down onto the road that was on the hedgerows. So that's on both sides. Main color, of course, is reddish brown, but I also used some dark brown in the middle in certain spots, kind of just to show like mud or, yeah, darker. What I'm really just getting at is trying to add more color to it. And Intercastle and previous mocks, I've mainly just had reddish brown, so I was trying to get the dark tan and the dark brown in just to add a few other colors to the roads. So that's how the road kind of went. There are a few areas that still need a little bit of touch up, like at the corners. You can see there's little gaps there, but those will end up getting filled in once I start putting plants on. I feel like I got as much of it covered up as I probably could with plates, but it's a lot easier to cover up gaps like that with plants and such. So that's probably what's gonna end up happening. So overall, I think it turned out fairly well. I'm satisfied with how the hedgerows are turning out. A few areas like here and here I ended up having to use plating pieces, but you can't really get around that. It's hard to use the net technique to get a nice round and then also curving area. That it's just not really possible with the nets and the plates. So I think this is as good as it will get with how this is gonna go. In certain areas like these, I can get the nets to kind of do the different angles and putting them on corners, but there's also that issue with not being able to completely cover it up. So for the rest of the mock, you'll probably see a mixture of this sort of thing and these for the corners. But other than that, the hedgerow walls on the straight areas turned out really well. Really nice. Very good looking. So that's what will continue for the other straight areas. I'll probably end up having to order some more nets just because I used quite a few of them on this area, probably at least 10, maybe more. But just looking at it, this is actually just getting one section done. It's looking, well, I guess it looks kind of empty, but also kind of full out. I think once these areas get done, it will look a lot better. But for the second segment, I think we're doing pretty good. We're already getting areas covered up, but yeah, again, in the long scheme of things, this might not look like a ton compared to the great size of the mock, but I would have liked to get more done. But these net pieces take quite a bit of time to assemble, so that's the biggest drawback with it. Takes quite a bit of my time, but hopefully maybe I'll find a more efficient way to do it. But I'm thinking for the continuation, the next segments, I'll probably go section by section and then do the same thing that I did in this one. Get all the hedgerows down and then cover up the road. We'll probably get to the fields last. So next week we'll probably work on those back 2 segments. And then there's 3 more right here. It's going to be different with this road. It will be a little bit easier because there's not hedgerows here. There will be buildings on either side. So I'm thinking I'm going to start with the outskirts of the town area, get all those hedgerows done, maybe start working on the fields, and then we'll probably get to the city last, just because I want to make sure I get all the netting and stuff that I need and get that done first. And then we'll get on to the city. Comment, subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.